Whoa, look at that crazy intro. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the chief of cereal and Sigilite of the FLG. Cereal is if combine cereal and Sigilite at the same time. And I'm
I'll
Seth
take
the
it.
Mad Doc, your competitive correspondent. Kicker, how you been?
Dude, I am doing wonderful. It has been a glorious week. I got to play some Votann today with the
Ooh,
miniatures on the table, had fun.
ooh.
And yeah, I mean, like, they're a pretty strong army, no doubt. I did lose, but I had a lot of fun. But I hadn't really
That's good.
played big boy 40K. I've been playing a lot of kilting recently. This is the first game of 40K I've played in a few months. I'm going back to 40K full hog, at least for the next, for the rest of this year.
Mhm.
I wanted to, take a little breather. I'm done with my breather. I got some Votann painted up, and I'm having way too much fun with him.
All
But
right.
what have you been up to, Seth? I know you've been busy.
Yeah. I've been working on some hobby.
All right.
I think the tech priest is bringing it in. No, the tech priest brought in our secret
Oh,
guest
wait, we
early.
should probably tell people we have a competition going on, folks.
We
There's a
do.
cutthroat competition. Seth, explain the parameters of our competition.
Well, Kicker, you and I are both painting a Votann army, and
Yes.
we're having two categories. I think that we're being judged on. One is quality of the paint job, but also the second is first to 2,000 points. Now,
Yes.
I know Kicker is gonna reveal some stuff here that I would say gives him a competitive
A
advantage.
slight
So
advantage, yeah.
I decided to try to catch up by bulk painting 20 Bolter Warriors. Um,
20 is
yep.
this
So
are you going with contrast there? It looks like you've
yeah,
got a
so I've got these are all based in Grace here, and then I did I think it's Nasdrag yellow for the cloth, and then I did like a Shaiish purple and a Black
nice.
Templar for the armor. So I literally that last photo where they're black armor, that was like 25 minutes ago. So
Snap a photo.
I've been chugging away trying to get all those done so I can be ready to move on to some bigger models soon, because as we know, the rest of the Votann range went out on pre-order.
Yeah, that means this weekend you can get your mitts on the
Mhm.
full range. It's a small range, but the full range, that's the initial launch of OTAN this week. You can go
Is that
pick them
a
up at the
is that a
stores.
dwarf joke? Small
I don't know.
range?
All right. Yes, totally, totally. I am a
Mhm.
dad. I can make dad jokes. Guys, if you are listening to our podcast, you should be watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get these wonderful visual elements. You get to see Seth's hobby progress. You'll get to see my hobby progress. And more importantly, you get to jump in chat. Chat is legitimately more important than Seth and I. That is the reason we do this. So hop
You've
into
given
chat.
them too much power.
Yeah, too much power, right? Too much. No, chat really has been very influential in the decision making of Frontline Gaming and also just in our lives. But Seth, your stuff looks gorgeous. That is 20. Are you ready to base them? But you've got
I
your
still
basing
gotta
down.
do the metallics and then
Okay,
the lenses and then the belts, and then it's done. Then it's basing time.
awesome,
But like
awesome.
the bulk of it is done. And now I'm just doing the detail stuff.
It looks great, and that is your infantry, right? You are done now with infantry after
I will
this.
be I after this I basically have enough to run 3 squads
Yeah.
plus or minus some special weapons.
Cool. Cool. Well, Seth, I gotta brag. Can we bring in my hobby progress? My wonderful friends at GW did send me quite a few of the Votann minis a little while back, and I have been busy. Can we show the painted one real fast? Is that cool?
No, no, it's
There
not.
we go. There's
Ah,
my fully painted
ah.
fortress. It was done actually very quickly. I just wanted to get it on the table ready so I could play with it today.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a beautiful model. I really do like the Votann Fortress. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in 1 second. But do we have a little photo of my little decals on the side? I'm very proud. There we go. There's my buffalo decal on there. I'm really proud of my buffalo / bison themed Votann.
Do have
This
to
was done
admit it
very
looks
quickly.
good.
Yeah, the paint job is kind of crummy. I mean, it's average, it's mediocre, but the decals always help me step up my game a little bit. So yeah, pretty happy with these guys.
Chat asks, what is your favorite part of playing Votann?
Okay, so in the game today, this is my first game playing Votann. I know people like you, Seth. You play a lot of TTS.
Mhm.
I really play 40K because I want the interaction with an opponent face to face. I want to get the cool miniatures on the table. That it's like I can't get my kicks playing on TTS. So I have not played Votann yet until today,
Mhm.
and my experience was wow. I'm getting my ass kicked. And then after round one, once I had a few grudge tokens on, I'm like, oh, this army is really powerful. And I was able to really make a huge comeback turn two once there was grudge tokens on everything. And then turn two, I basically chewed up easily half the other opponent's army. So
Mhm.
my favorite part is how you can kind of start. You gain momentum, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You start off pretty slow, but once you get those grudge tokens on there, you can start to really rip people apart.
Once the train picks up steam, you might say.
Yes. So that is my favorite. Well, Seth, what is your favorite part? You played a lot more.
It's purely the ability to say that's a judgment when your opponent does something you don't
That is
like.
the reason to do it. That's a
Um,
legitimate reason.
that's it. If you're not shouting judgment at your opponent constantly, are you really playing Votann?
Oh, okay. So
Mickey,
we're
I've been challenging our tech priest to a game
oh,
frequently, and he's dodging me.
he's dodging you.
You know,
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's
and
wrong, Vicky?
I'm worried that he's just afraid to let me even the scales in our
Uh,
rivalry.
no response from a tech priest. Is any
No,
response?
no,
The gauntlet was thrown.
he's a
Not one.
he's a silent man in the background. Don't
All right,
worry
so
about
we're
him.
talking about Votann. We got the Hecton Fortress right there.
Yep.
I want to talk about the rest of the minis
Mhm.
for this new release. So let's show a photo right here. This is the fortress under construction. So this new fortress is a big kit. Now I don't own a Land Raider. A lot of people comparing it to a Land Raider. I think a better comparison is the Primaris Executioner. It's
Okay.
roughly the same dimensions except taller. So
All right.
it's not as long, like nose to tail. So it's a little shorter there, but taller in terms of, I guess, height of the vehicle. Um, I will tell you, if we can show you our next photo here, it's really it's relatively easy to magnetize the turret. So I have a good guy. There we go. I got a good photo. You can kind of see how the two main primary weapons insert into, I guess, the receiving end there. So you
Mhm.
can magnetize it pretty easy, but it's not push fit. Some minis are like almost intentionally designed for you to be able to swap out the turrets. This one, you will have to get a little creative to make it work.
I love
Um,
magnets.
you love magnets. You love
I do.
magnets. Uh, the
I
the other thing is
magnetized my Thane's arms.
that's ridiculous. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's dedication, man. Well, something I should also really recommend from experience here was the wheels. You really want to sub assembly the wheels, just because there's so much stuff behind the wheels, and you do not want to try to paint that. Plus, you can easily just spray paint them black and then dry brush them real quickly and call it a day. So the wheel sub assembly the wheels, and the I guess we should talk about the berserkers too. The berserkers, when I saw them online, I was not impressed. The berserkers just didn't do it for me. But seeing them in person, I am sold. Like the berserkers are way sexier models. They are all single pose though, so that's kind of annoying. There's no way you're going to be able to mix those poses up, which is a little bit
Yeah.
frustrating. The cool thing though is they're super dynamic. Like they just look like they're charging in to beat people up with their
Like
hammers
they're berserkers.
like they're berserk. The other one that we got a cool photo here is the Terminators. The Terminators are probably one of the easiest kits to
Hearthguard.
build. Huh?
The Hearthguard.
The Hearthguard, yes. Okay. Sorry, I call them Terminators, but yes, the Hearthguard. They are super easy to build. They are also kind of pretty mono pose, but I don't know. I like the pose. They have a really cool one of like a guy, holding up his gun and shooting. I don't know. I'm a fan of them. Um, it seems like they're really scaled accurately. They're just a bit taller than their basic troops, but
Mhm.
they're still smaller than a space marine. Remember, these are dwarves, so even if they're in this heavy duty armor, they're still shorter than a primary space marine significantly. So there's a photo right there. You can kind of see them between a guard. They're taller than a guardsman, shorter than a primary space marine,
Which is what
and
they're
the
supposed to be.
just where they're supposed to be. Yeah, well, they are pretty cute. Like I was looking at them, like these are cute little like armor dudes. I don't know. They don't look
Hmm.
terrifying. Let's just be straight up with that.
Yeah.
The Forge Master. This was a really cool kit to build. I don't have a photo of it, but I'll tell you what surprised me is that all the Forge Master's little assistants, all right, are on smaller bases. They're on the 25
Yeah.
millimeter bases, except for I guess the Cog Votann. He's on a 28 millimeter. But in the Forge Master himself is on a 32. But I just was not expecting all the other guys to be so tiny. I guess they are really, really small.
They're just
Uh,
little machine helpers. Little
they
machine
are just
helpers.
little machine helpers. But yeah, the Forge Master, he does some work, dude. He did some work for me today. I was really
Yeah.
surprised. Like his gun itself is legit, man. Seth, do you run a Forge Master in your current list?
I'm definitely thinking of I ordered one. I'm gonna run it. I don't really know when my next event is gonna be for me.
Yeah.
Um, but it's definitely on my list right now because if you're running a land fortress, I think you need to run one of those because there's just
Yeah.
so much utility for running that
Oh,
model.
100%.
So much you
100%.
can do. Heal your stuff,
Yeah.
give it
The
plus one to
+1.
hit,
Yeah.
turn if you're the master with master armor, turn something into 0 damage when it
Yeah.
hits you.
Yeah. Really, really good
Super nice.
stuff.
Like, what's that railgun? 0 damage.
Yeah,
That's right.
nothing. Sit down. Hey, let's talk about the new Astra Militarum. There's a bunch of Astra Militarum hitting the world right now.
This
The
is
new
my
HQ.
deep plan is to distract Kicker with Astra Militarum.
And Seth, really, it's working. I am already like 100% excited for Astra Militarum. Like as soon as I can get these minis, I'm building them.
Look at that Dorn, that
Yeah,
oppressor cannon is just whoo.
yikes!
That's a
It's
lot of
spicy.
shots, that's a lot of damage, and that's a lot of range.
Yeah.
And it's
And it looks like it's got an
T9.
autocannon attached to it too. So it's got
Yeah.
2 turret weapons.
T9, what, 17 wounds is what it says there?
Yeah. So
Woo.
it looks powerful. The we should probably also talk about the HQ, man. The that was released. The Lord Solar dude on a horse that I don't know.
Dude on
Very
a mechanical horse that is painted to
yes.
look like a real horse. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
not sure. Okay, straight up, I was very disappointed with this miniature. Just didn't do it for me. Seth, what do you think? What's your hot take?
I mean, it's a human trying to look cool in the 41st millennium. I mean, I kind of expect it. Like, you go back into the guard range, and there are a lot of guard regiments
Mhm.
that are very ornate.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm sure people in Kanchak can start shouting out the different regiments and that. So to me, he's if you had an entire guard army themed
yeah,
like him,
yeah. He'd fit in
I would
great.
be in with it. But he doesn't fit with like the aesthetics of the models we're seeing coming out, like in terms of like the new like heavy
The new
weapons
troops. Yeah,
platforms, the
no.
new tanks. I would say he does go with the new Rough Riders.
Yeah, he kind of works
Um,
with him. It for me,
so
dude. It's the helmet, right? Though the weird like sun helmet is just not doing it for me. But
look.
yeah. Oh, what?
However you want to show your flair is acceptable, Kicker. We're not going to judge him,
Yeah, okay, we're not gonna
but
judge
I'm
him.
certain you could do a head swap pretty easily on a
Yeah,
model like
I'm
this.
hoping that we could do that. But honestly, dude, if the rules are really good, he's gonna be, a fun model to bring. I mean, and especially if you're running Rough Riders, right? Come on, imagine running Rough Riders
Yeah.
with this guy spearheading the attack. All right, let's talk about one last big thing that's coming out this weekend for pre-orders: the Slaves to Darkness box. Now, remember, folks, this is a Age of Sigmar box set, but the Demon Prince in there works perfectly great for 40K, and that Demon Prince is
Yep.
sexy. Yeah,
I mean, it's a very chaosy looking spiky thing.
yeah.
Which, if I'm honest, I bet you there's some folks out there that can find a way to convert that up into some Chaos Space Marines.
Oh yeah,
Or demons.
yeah,
So I
right.
certainly think there's some options there. And then, yeah, that Demon Prince is definitely 40K compatible.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that draws a lot of demon players to the range is to be able to swap between
Both of
AOS and
them.
40K with them.
Yeah. So that's going to be a spicy new box set up for pre-order this Saturday. Seth, we we don't have the ad lined up, but we have a brand new line of Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain
Mhm.
made by Frontline Gaming. It is amazing. We've shown
It is
some
bright
teasers.
and colorful.
It's bright and colorful. We don't have the ad linked up, so you guys can't get all the full fancy photos of it. But it is
Bam! Ouch!
okay. There we go.
Puff.
Yeah.
Mm, okay, I like it.
There's our still
Good.
ad. Yes, it's a
Thank you, Tech Priest.
Look at that magic in the background there. So yeah, this is some pretty epic terrain. It's definitely normal, Americana, USA,
Mhm.
modern
Very
day.
aesthetically in with Marvel
Yeah,
based game.
it's
It's not futuristic terrain. It's not high fantasy. It fits that niche very well. So
yeah.
I'm glad to see you guys branching out into some other terrain systems because I'm sure some of the other game systems would love to get their hands on that lovely full color terrain.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. I mean, and come on, Legion, come on, they love their terrain. So let's see what we can do in the next few
And
months.
don't forget, folks, if you want to support the show, you want to pick up any of the products we're talking about, you can always find the link in the show notes here that helps support us here at the show, and we always very much appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's talk about the Frontline Gaming event news, guys. Cherokee tickets went up for sale yesterday. Yes, this is the beloved event in
Mhm.
Cherokee, North Carolina, on the Cherokee Reservation. This is going to be happening February 24th through 26th. It will be a 3-day 40K champs event. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with a Sunday RTT and a Sunday narrative. And then, of course, we've got a massive Age of Sigmar with the Age of
Sunday
Sigmar.
narrative, you say?
Yes. So if you don't want to play the 40K RTT on Sunday, you could play in the narrative on Sunday. And of course, you get fully refunded if you do make it to the top cut for the champs. But guys, there's also like Age of Sigmar, dude. The Age of Sigmar tickets are flying. Like, I think we're going to sell out of Age of Sigmar before 40K for this event.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Okay. No,
No,
we do
no. I have 40K community. This sounds like an affront to your abilities. And in fact, I feel like that earns A judgment token, kicker.
A judgment token? A judgment token? Oh,
Yeah.
geez, damn. Well, no. I will say the 40K premium tickets, which we do have a limited quantity from, are almost sold out. So
Okay.
but those, we only have so many of those. But
And
yeah, no,
that gets you the extra event swag, right?
that gets you all the swag at a highly discounted price. Seth, you were at Cherokee last year. What were your
I
thoughts?
was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I think it's really important to remind folks with Cherokee, and I've seen you posting about it. Cherokee really is a drive-in event.
Yeah,
It's meant to kind of get folks in from the region. There's a lot of major metropolitan areas within a few hours, so you can fly in if you want. You're just going to have to plan on how you're making it from that airport
renting a
to the event.
car in
Rent
Asheville
a
or something.
car or carpool with some friends.
Yeah,
So keep that in mind. But it is definitely worth it. The casino is a very nice facility. It's a very new facility, and the actual event space that we're in is pretty actually. I wouldn't say it's not detached. It's all one building. You can walk from end to end inside, but it's separate enough from the casino. The rooms are separate enough. There's restaurants that are separate from. So like, if you don't like the casino vibe,
yeah.
you never have to go in the casino.
And that's
And if
specifically set. That's
yeah,
because of the tower that our room block
yep,
gets, right? So they
yep,
do have they have like 3 towers. Our
yep.
tower happens to be the one tower that is
Yep.
not in the
So
casino and is
you
by the event
definitely,
center.
if you want to get that peaceful vibe,
Yeah,
you want to make sure you get the room block with us
yeah.
because that'll help you out. But my wife and I went. We had a great time. I'm willing to. I will definitely be going back, and I'm willing to bet that she will turn that into her vacation birthday weekend trip again this year.
It's literally
Um,
5 miles from the Smoky Mountain National Park.
yeah.
So it's
So
a fun little town. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a bring your significant other, bring the kids, let them go wander around and explore some very nice scenery while we nerd up all day. And then I have you told them what's happening in the evening at the events?
No, but let's do it. Let's do it right
All right.
now, Seth. Let's do this, guys. At night, both on Friday, we posted a poll a little while back. Some of you guys might have
Mhm,
been
mhm.
attuned to it, and we took that information. And that Friday night and Saturday night, we're going to be doing family dinner in the hall, so that you do not have to go to town. You do
Yep.
not need to go battle the crowds in the resort. The resort is packed. It's a very popular resort. You won't have
Yep.
to deal with any of that. You can stay in the hall
Yeah. You
after you
just
roll
want to hang
dice.
out and chill.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to get reservations. You hang out with your buddies. There'll be freshly cooked food by the chef just for our hall. Friday night will be barbecue and southern sides in the hall, and then Saturday night it's taco night in the hall.
Yeah,
So
and last year in the hall we had a like a little meet and greet
mhm,
with some hors d'oeuvres, and
yeah,
then they had breakfast in the hall all the
mhm.
mornings, and they had lunch in the hall, and it was good. It was
This was
good
the
food.
highest ranked food we've ever done.
Yeah,
People loved the food
it was
at
good.
Cherokee, and it was also way cheaper than anywhere else. So anyway, Cherokee's a fun event. You can go there, you can hang out. You don't have to worry about food because you can just stay in the hall. And you'll be totally covered. It's legitimately probably the best food on the reservation in our hall because we're working directly with the chef, and you don't
Yeah,
have to wait in line. And it's way cheaper than
yeah.
anything else in the resort.
It's very affordable, and I remember getting some massive biscuits. So I like that idea because always all right, kicker.
Yeah,
I love you,
I know.
but I absolutely hate the endless debate that occurs at the end of the day of a game of 40K about where the group is going to go to dinner.
Mhm.
And then you end up with like a group of like 15 to 20 guys, and we're trying to find a table, and the restaurant's like 20 people. Are
Yeah.
you kidding us? Like, you're going to be waiting for like 3 hours.
And you're
So,
having to catch an Uber
and
or the
it's
restaurant
always,
closes.
always, always a nightmare and just blah.
Yeah,
Um,
really miserable.
so I personally I like the idea of just being able to like, hey, I'm done. I'm gonna grab my food. I'm gonna hang out with my buddies, and then if you can hang out, and eat, hang out, and chat with everyone. You want to go get some drinks and do some stuff later? Cool. If
Yeah,
you want to just keep hanging out in the hall, keep
yeah.
hanging out in the hall.
We'll keep the hall
Kicker,
open all night. Yeah,
I think something is a first for us
shoot.
tonight.
Tell me.
There is a super chat for us tonight
Oh, no
from
way.
from
Thank you.
Mr. Antonio super chatted us
I don't know
for
how do we interact with the super chat? Explain
well,
this to me.
I just saw it pop up in our yeah. We say thanks. That's how we interact.
Antonio,
He,
thank you. If you see
he
us at an
didn't
event,
ask a question, so if he wants to ask a question, he can.
ask away, Antonio. And if you see
And
us at an event,
I'm
we'll
watching
give you a big
chat. Yeah.
hug. We'll give you some custom dice. We'll give you stickers. I don't know. Thank you so much, man. That's really,
Yeah.
really much appreciated. Seth, monitor the chat. See if Antonio wants to ask us anything
I'm
deep and
keeping an
dark
eye on
and
it, as
personal.
is the tech priest.
Awesome. Thank you,
Um,
Tech Priest. Guys, let's talk about one other really important thing. This is the 2023 calendar. We showed this off last week. There it is in all its glory. January. Plenty of events to keep you entertained throughout the entire year next year. So after Cherokee, which is in February, we are going to have the Rocky Mountain Open, the brand new event in March. And people have been bombarding me about this new event, asking when can we get tickets? When can we get tickets? Tickets for the RMO, the Rocky Mountain Open, which will be taking place in Denver, will be going on sale in December. So guys, that the events in March, the tickets will be going on sale in December. That event will be pretty limited in terms of number of tickets we can sell, just because it's a first year event and we're being a little more conservative in terms of the venue space. Seth, what is happening on the FLGN? Boom. Nothing. Come on.
I'm kidding. This week on Grimm, it was a fantastic Dickisode. I tuned in for a bit. I love the Dickisodes. Hearing those dulcet Dickatones on the Dickisodes are great. I think it really elevates that show. I really hope to see those guys try to capitalize on the momentum he gave them with that beautiful episode. So go give them a watch. They talk about all the drama and the memes of the community. We got the Thursday show coming up. It's actually kind of becoming a slower time of year, but I know there's a big event going on over in the UK, Coventry. So they're definitely going to be covering that. So check that out there. And that's all that's going on with the network this week. Kicker, do you want to maybe introduce folks to our guest in the background?
We have an esteemed guest tonight. He is legendary in the community. You definitely know him. And if you haven't met him in person yet, you've seen his artwork, because guess what? He is the #1 artist in the community. This is Thomas Goatboy Reedy. Thomas Goatboy, we're just going to refer to you as Goatboy because it's awesome. There we go. Hey, Goatboy, say hi to everyone.
It's a hot mess of a room.
It's all right. Here, I'll move to try to block some of the mess.
Yeah, we'll try and block up the mess in your room.
Oh crap! I'm cut off.
So Goatboy, before we go into an in-depth segment here, learning everything we need to know about you and the hobby and art, we got to ask a very important question, which we ask all our guests when they're on the show for the first time. What is your single favorite sugary breakfast cereal? You will be judged very intently.
All right, so pure garbage cereal. I will take. There's a local HEB that's in Texas.
Yeah,
their Frosted Flakes uses sugar canes, like sugar.
Yeah, like real sugar.
And it's the best fake Frosted Flakes you could ever have. They are amazing, and it's garbage. Pure garbage.
That is awesome. And it's beautiful that you mentioned HEB. For those that are not in Texas, HEB is a regional grocery store chain that is like, it's such a good chain that outside grocery store chains really can't compete. It's hard for them to compete against HEB in Texas. I mean, you don't have a lot of, you don't have that many Albertsons or Safeways. It's like HEB dominates.
They took them out. They basically kicked them out, depending on the area. And so, like, HEB is central to San Antonio.
Yeah. So
for where I'm at, it's perfect because it's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But they make good stuff, and their Frosted Flakes are good. And then sadly, it's like a mix between honeycombs and corn pops. Those are my two other go-to crap cereals.
The answer is corn pops. I've already done the scientific research on that. The answer is corn pops.
Corn pops get slimy.
No. But honeycomb
they get slimy, Kicker.
Honeycomb is missing on actual taste. The texture is also deceiving.
Honeycomb is a good dry cereal.
It's like, okay, yes. It is a good dry cereal. I'll give you that.
You can eat it as a chip replacement.
Yeah, as a chip replacement, as a chip replacement, as a sugar. But Goatboy, I got to tell you though, HEB's cereal game in particular is really impressive. I'm guilty of having gone to Texas.
Is Kicker about to do a tier list of grocery stores?
No. I'm going to admit that I have driven to Texas, and on the way back, brought no less than 20 boxes of HEB branded cereal, because you can't get all that cereal. Like, they have a dulce de leche, which is, I guess, they're catering towards the Latino market. Like, that is like a dulce de leche cereal, which is glorious, like just glorious. So yes, you definitely chosen wisely. Let's get into the real heart of this discussion. First of all, Goatboy, can you give us a little background? I mean, tell us, we know you as the guy that does a lot of the 40K artwork, and now you are officially you're part of the Frontline Gaming family. You are our resident artist that's going to be doing all of our poster artwork for all of our events and all of our other little special things that is going to be getting announced over the 2023 season. But how did you get into this world of 40K, and more particularly, how did you become the artist that is known in the community?
Artist.
So I started in second edition, like the very end of second edition. I remember buying my first Chaos box that had a metal Abaddon in it, and I glued my legs together by gluing all the metal parts of the old metal Dreadnought. And then I played for a little bit, about 3. I left when I got out of college, and then my ex-wife didn't like me to play the nerd game, so then I got divorced and I came back.
Kept the hobby, got rid of the wife.
Yeah. came back and forth, and I've been playing since. Art wise, I've done art
So
forever, and
would
I
you
just
say
started.
that you Tom Brady'd your ex for 40K?
Well, earlier you saw my wife go, so she's like, yeah, she deals with this hot mess that is my room, and
Yeah.
it's more than this. There's a table out in the living room that's full of stuff too. One of the frontline tables, so
Yeah.
it never ends.
Did
But
she know about your hobby passion before you got married?
oh yes.
Yeah. Seth, what about you? Does your wife know about your hobby, love?
So I didn't hobby when I was in college.
Okay.
Like a lot of folks, I took a break then, and that's when I met my wife. But my wife actually, I graduated a year ahead of her in school, so I had a year where I was living on my own in Baltimore, and I went haywire with the hobby that
Yeah.
year. And so when she came up to visit, she was like, "Oh, so this is what you do when you have spare time and money." Because when she met me, I was like in like the busiest time of my like veterinary education. So it was like I don't have time to watch TV or eat or sleep. So, having a 40K hobby wasn't happening during that moment.
Goat boy, gotta ask you then, man. So you're how did you get into the artwork side? I mean, obviously, are you an artist by trade? Have you always been an artist as a kid?
Oh
Like, what's
yeah,
your background?
that was my degree is in art.
Oh, no
Uh,
way.
yeah, not that I do computer stuff now, but my degree was in art, and then I just kind of continued. And I always drew, I always did stuff, and then I picked up around 2000. I think 2008 is when I started writing for bowls, and I drew at that point. So it just kind of continued off from there. When I would do little, way back in the day, they used to do those. Fan made codex stuff for like everything
Mhm.
else, and so I did a lot of artwork for that,
Oh,
and
cool.
that just kind of continued on there. And then what I got with you guys is because I knew Reese and Frankie and stuff like that, and they asked, "Hey, can you do some stuff for us?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll help you guys out. I like you guys. I'll help you out, make sure everything else." And then that's continued down that path. And then like I was drawing on army bags during events and all kinds of stuff, and it just kind of exploded up from there. So
Cool.
there's a bunch of old people with like a bunch of marker bags that I drew all over their army bags, everything else, all over the place.
So is that your,
Those
like,
are
I guess your
collector's items now.
Yeah, yeah.
collector's items?
I just don't
Is
have
it
time to draw when I at an event because usually at an event, I'm hustling to try to make sure I do something in the event, and then I usually didn't have time. Beforehand, I was when I played a lot more. I was much more. My games are very fast.
Yeah. Well, actually, talking about hustling at events, can we just you can toot your own horn here? I mean, you were pretty,
Yeah.
you did
I
pretty
did.
good this past weekend.
Yeah, I did good. I went to the Kansas City Open, the GW Open, and I proceeded to. I haven't. I think I took an army that I've played twice,
All
and
right.
I
All right.
got seventh out of the overall. So I went to day.
Good
I got
job.
top
Yeah,
16
congrats.
as number two, and then I got beat up by Manny.
Yeah, that
Uh,
happens.
and then a demon player where I did not roll saves very good.
Now,
But I did get
Thomas, can I ask you a question? I believe I've seen you do some commission painting as well.
I do. That's my other thing.
You're not just an accomplished artist in the
And
drawing
player,
form,
and player.
And a
but
drawer.
you are an accomplished painter as well.
I do. I paint. If you there's a style, I have a specific style, and people like it. Like I'm looking. I'm staring over to my left, and there's a Emperor's Children army that I'm working on. So
No,
far the
you
box.
can put that in the trash. We don't need that
Yeah,
in the community.
the box is 30 Noise Marines.
Yep, just
20.
straight. Is there a trash can in the
Toss
room?
that,
Just
yeah.
It's
shove
all,
it
it's
into
all
that.
painted. I can't throw away now. It's painted. That's part that's painted.
All
I
right,
still got
fine.
more. It's insane. So
Well,
much
I
depth.
don't know who that client is, but
yeah.
I don't support Emperor's Children.
Hey,
Get out
I
of here.
play, I play Creations of Bile. That's what I played this week.
Okay, you can also put that in the dumpster too.
Hey,
I hate that. I hate that army. Oh God,
okay,
I have so much PTSD of playing combat orcs into Creations of Bile. There's just no winning that.
I want you to think about how worse mine is 30 possessed and 10 terminators. The
I
joke
played
of,
30 Creation of Bile Terminators 2
oh
weekends
god.
ago. It was just like like he had turn one, he just walked in the middle of the field, and I was like, I'm Goth Orcs.
Hmm.
I can't do anything about this.
It's like you like, hey, do you want to fight? I want to fight too, but I also always get to fight.
I always fight first and fight on death, and I'm like, yeah, I don't do either of those. So
Or but orc math says you just go punch them.
I
That's all
tried.
cool.
I did try. I just didn't punch hard enough.
But it was yeah, it's a pretty it was a pretty nutty. Like I'll be like, well, I'm coming over here and I'm gonna go get your stuff. I'm gonna steal your candy. That's my And that's what I did.
How
And
how how appropriate for post Halloween
Yeah, right.
discussions.
Perfect. So is that your? I mean, it looks like you play like evil, dark stuff in general. Is that your kind of passion there? Are you a chaos dude?
I've always been chaos. That's the first army I bought was chaos, and I always go back to it, whether it's anything evil. I will dabble in good guys every once in a while. I do have a Marine army. I do have a Grey Knight army that's actual Grey Knights.
All
It
right.
is the fourth Grey Knight army I've painted.
Jeez.
Well, I painted one. I painted a real one. I painted an evil one. I painted a blue one, and now I painted a silver one.
Oh, nice. Goat Boy, I'm sitting here in chat. Someone's asking the name Goat Boy. Where does that come from?
So I worked at a comic book store during college, and I had a goatee because as a kid leaving high school, the first thing you grow is some kind of goatee of some sort.
Yeah, that or sideburns.
Sideburns. Yeah, I was a sideburns guy.
I had them both. I had sideburns down to here, and I had a
good. Just making sure.
Yeah, and he goes like
you
that.
covered all your bases. All right.
Exactly.
And my and it was just like this part here. So my buddy goes, says, you got to go to. You look like a goat. You're Goat Boy, and I just kept with it, and I would write that as my name for art, and I just kept with it, and I never let it go. And so it's like a super lame. And I did come from a ranch where we had goats and sheep, so
It just made sense.
So I knew about goats. I knew about sheep stuff. I made goat jokes.
So, Seth, I mean, I have to ask him, Goat Boy, do you paint stuff or draw stuff that's not 40K related? Because I know that we all see your 40K stuff because we're in the 40K community, but like you're an accomplished artist, you've got a degree in art, basically. Like you've been doing this for years. Do you actually paint non 40K stuff?
I don't really. I've painted D&D miniatures. I've painted some other stuff. People ask me to do stuff like that, and then illustration. I've done D&D stuff. I've worked on. I worked on a movie. Worked on a TV show. Worked on some education stuff. I don't know. Did you ever see the movie A Scanner Darkly?
No, but the name rings a bell.
Yeah.
No,
it's a rotoscope animation with like Keanu Reeves and Robert Downey before he became before he did Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I did help do that one here in town.
Cool.
I worked on a Law and Order episode that's really terrible art. So I
had to go find that one. Got it.
Oh yeah, it's if you ever anybody ever watch Criminal Intent, and have you ever watched a lot of this Criminal Intent Law and Order?
I mean, don't worry about being embarrassed about your past like work, because trust me, Steve Joel has some interesting past work that we could always embarrass him with.
It's if you go find it, it's like there's good art in there because they use it for a comic book studio.
Yeah.
But I drew this guy who did bad stuff to people, and he did bad cartoons, and I had to draw the bad cartoons. Like just like drawn bad, nothing bad in them. They're just
drawn poorly.
Drawn poorly.
Gotcha. All right.
So,
well, let's talk about the stuff that you've drawn that is, gorgeous and amazing. In the past year, you've done all the Frontline Gaming artwork. What's your favorite one from the 2022 season? The favorite piece? I mean, like I know Seth probably's got a favorite. I've got a favorite. What's your favorite? Okay, I'm just gonna say my favorite straight up, dude. Was the guard one, the Lone Star Open one. I loved that artwork, dude.
I like the colors on that one a lot because they're pretty bright. I always have a soft spot for anything LVO. So the Sammy Davis Jr. was one I did a while ago, and I always liked that one. And I like the new one that's coming up for this next season. I like the Elvis Necron, makes me laugh.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's one of the ones that's always is a nice one. And then I liked the Cherokee Open from last year, the crazy bear.
Oh, yeah,
that was the bear really one. That was another really solid. Like that one hit and was done like quickly, and it went really well. And I think the colors were just good. Like it was like, these colors are good. I don't have to think about it at all.
Yeah, Seth was showing up his sticker from the Cherokee Open last year. Seth, what was your favorite?
I mean, like, does it have to be last year's?
It doesn't have to be last year's, but it can't be.
Because I really like the Votann Cherokee for this year.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Votann Cherokee one is so good. So that's for those of you that haven't seen the logo yet for 2023 Cherokee, it's in the mountains, it's in the Smoky Mountains. Dwarves like mountains. It just seemed like a natural fit. What did you think of that one?
Double accent. Yeah.
I like that one. That one was that one came out pretty quickly because we were talking and we're like, well, we can do, I forget what we were talking about. I was like, either I can do some kind of like bear riding thingamabob, and you're like, what you do a Votann? I was like, okay, that sounds good. And that one, I think, came out in the ink pretty quickly, and it looked pretty good. And we just tweaked a few things, and it was just done.
Yeah, and
Like there
dude,
was
you
no
put up
fight.
with a lot of shit. For those that don't like work with me, but they just see me at the events, I push people pretty hard, on all ends, whether they're suppliers for products we're trying to sell at the events, or guys like Goat Boy that are helping me get the events done. I can be annoying as hell, and I just am very grateful that you put up with my crap, because you got I needed a logo like in 4 days, and boom, you got it, and it was gorgeous. And you even tied in the bear motif, because it's in the Smoky Mountains where they have a lot of black bears, and the Votann's got a black fur bear, arm on him and on the belt buckle. And I don't know, dude, it came out really, really well. Do
Yeah,
you
I thought
have
that was
anything? Do you have stuff?
the better ones for sure. I thought that was pretty good.
Can you show us? I know that you were showing me one earlier today that I got all excited. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It was a really, really cool one. Seth, check this thing out right there. Look at this. Look at this. This is like notepad here. This is not even digitalized yet.
Yeah, so this is for the next Texas one.
Oh, so
So of course
sexy.
I took some Predator motif because we want to do that, and there'll be the Texas flag over there. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's so badass. That's
why you can see the shape of it. So that will come up, and I'll probably color it. I don't think I'm doing anything this weekend, so there's a good chance it'll be done this weekend.
Cool. Do you mind if we show off the Rocky Mountain one? And no one's even seen the Rocky Mountain one yet. It's brand spanking new. Rocky Mountains in March. It's our next event up. Tech Priest, can we bring in the Rocky Mountain Open logo? There we go. Boom. Seth, I think you're going to appreciate this one.
What?
Yeah.
It's an orc on a squig.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes. So the Rocky Mountain colors are there. They are an orange and a blue with some white. And yes, that is a orc riding a squig through ideally this crazy winter land.
Finally.
Yes.
The squig's time has come.
So
all right. Is Rocky Mountains Midwest?
It's March.
Mountain?
I mean, so it's west. I guess it could be kind of Midwest. I mean, it's kind of
my Western orc players. Do you hear me? We have to win this event. Okay.
An orc's
it has an orc on it.
It has an orc on it.
Richard Milton, get in there.
Richard's in Utah. This is a drive for him. A short drive for him. He can take it. Yeah. Goat Boy, and I'm going to say this live on air right now. Seth, you're witness to this, guys, because not for 1 year, but for 2 consecutive years, orcs have won SoCal. We're taking off the Eldar for 2023, and it's going to be replaced with an orc surfing.
What?
Yes, there we're doing it. We've had Eldar surfing for 2 years. The time of the Eldar is over at SoCal.
It is the time of the orc.
It is the time of the orc for 2023's.
Man, why couldn't we have announced this in October?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It wasn't drawn.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't drawn then.
Well, Goat Boy, if you don't mind, we'd love for you to stay on. You are a competitive player. You are very familiar with the community. We're going to go through the competitive scene right now. Seth is going to lead that, and we'd love for you to chime in and give your thoughts. All right?
Sure.
Sweet. Seth, you want to take us into the world of competitive 40K?
Yeah, before we get into the ranking, I wanted to talk a little bit about some recent occurrences in the community. Clocks. It's okay. We saw, if you watched the past weekend at the Kansas City Open, there was some big name players that had some trouble getting to the end of their game, and it would have been helpful with a clock.
Seth, and or just to be clear, clocks were not used at that.
They were not. They did not have chess clocks, and I'm riffing off a point that Grim made, which is, you and I are playing a competitive game, Thomas and I. You want to make sure that each of us have an equal share of time. You can come up with a billion different ways to try to do it, but at the end of the day, a chess clock is just the easiest and most fair way to make sure we each get our time, that we each get the chance to play our game. And I know that this has been a divisive subject in the community for a long time. There are clocks in the ITC Code of Conduct that if your opponent requests one, you can use it. But I feel like at this point, like, the people that are against it in the community, like, we just need to embrace it. It's not bad. Like, there's a stigma that, like, if I ask you for a clock, like, I'm like, Thomas, I'm asking you for a clock because I don't trust you. It doesn't have to be a stigma. It's just, I'm going to make sure I don't take your time. When I play Horde Orcs, you better want me on a clock because you don't want me doing crap on your clock. So I feel like at this point in the community, we just need to get over it and accept that if you're going to have these top level plays that getting through the full 5 turns works, then just put a clock on the table, folks.
Go boy, take it away. What do you think, man? What are your thoughts?
So I've never needed a clock. I usually finish in 2 hours because if I'm gonna drag your ass over the finish line if I can help it.
Yeah.
Because I will I'll make I pay enough attention during the game to make sure watching on it. But I've played with it a bunch of times too, and so it doesn't bother me either way. I find that being slow played out of your time is probably the most frustrating thing I've had in a game of 40K. Like the worst game of 40K I've played, and I've played for all these years in competitive 40K, and I've only had really one bad game that I would consider a bad game against a friend of mine who took too much time. And I lost out of getting to the top 8 of LVO because I only got to 2.5 turns.
Yeah. A game ending without going to the full 5 turns or 6 turns, depending on your edition, it just always leaves you with that what if. Yeah. Sometimes it's clear. Sometimes you're getting shellacked and you're like, look, I know what's happening. We're done here. No. But whenever you get one of those games, you're like, man, if I just had another turn, it really always just hurts. Yeah. I think they're just a good call. So I think we just need to embrace them.
I just think it's one of those things that, especially at the upper levels of play, as you're getting into closer to the either the end or the end rounds, it should just be a part of it, just to eliminate that, because there are some bad factors where people are taking too much time.
And I've seen plenty of events that after a certain point in the event, they just say, okay, after this point, all undefeated players are on a clock. Mm-hmm. It depends on the size of your event where you make that cut. I understand it is a resource that if you're demanding players use, that as a TO you should provide. But the reality is most of us have clocks. They're fairly cheap. There's clock apps for cell phones. Mm-hmm. They're pretty easy to use. So as long as you got some juice and a connection, you can download it. So it's really not that out of reach for us as players.
And guys, at all Frontline gaming events, we do have literally a bucket of clocks.
Yep. So if you ever have an issue, you can always just walk up front and ask the judges for a clock, and they'll be happy to get you one.
It's the same thing of like I've always been fine with active judging. Yeah. Because I was like, look, if I mess up and I mess up because I'm stupid, I want to know that I mess up because I'm stupid, and hopefully I won't mess up any further. I always just see it as a way to help prevent some of these maybe prevent some of these issues that blow up later on there. Just like the same with clock, where it's like someone took so long, they rolling out there. You're just trying to circumvent this stuff, and it makes TO's life easier. Yeah. It makes the event not look like it's not knowing what it's doing.
If you call Adam Solis up to your table and it's 10 minutes till dice down and you guys are in round 2, there's no way for him to fix that.
No.
There's no way a judge can say, hey, you know what? There are a couple hundred other people here waiting to play the next round, but we're going to hold just so you guys have enough time to finish your game.
We have to stay on time.
Yeah. So it's you put it, if you're not using one of those clocks and you get down to it and you're in a tough position, the judges can't really help you. They can't say, you know what, if you call them early. If you're feeling like, if you start a game and you're not on a clock, it doesn't mean you can't start a clock mid game. You're like, man, we're getting really behind. Let's get a clock and split the remaining time to make sure you get done. So,
and I'm only calling Salty John. I'm not calling anyone else.
I mean, to be fair, I like Danny. Danny and I have a good rapport.
Judge preference here.
I only want the judge that likes me.
Well, guys. I mean, we have a really good chat right now. If you're in Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube, tell us your thoughts. I mean, we're paying attention. Do you guys like clocks? Should we clock speed?
A lot of pro clock chat. Yeah. I think there was one question from Alex about how long does each game take. Depending on your tournament, the rounds are between 3 hours or 2.5 hours. Yeah. So you're looking at, if you're an even split of an hour 15 each for deployment and playing all your turns, which seems like a lot until you get on the table and start playing, and then that time can chew up if you're not paying attention. Yeah. So, but having that clock there to remind yourself, hey man, I got 50 minutes left and I got 4 more turns to play. I need to move this along.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm a talkative asshole, and so if there's no clock, I just talk and want to get to know my opponent, and I'm like, oh, geez,
All right,
So
side
the
story
clock
time.
keeps me in check, so that I'm like, oh, we're focusing.
Side story time about, and it involves clocks.
Okay, good.
There was an event in Atlanta a couple years ago, the Pro Tabletop Open, and round one, I get paired into Matt Root, and Matt is a previously a big orc player. I'm a previously big orc player. We were both playing Space Marines at that event. We just geeked out about orcs for like an hour straight. Didn't deploy a model, nothing, just talking orcs until one of the judges came over and was like, "Gentlemen, is everything okay?" And we were like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" And they're like, "It's an hour into the round, and you guys haven't deployed a model." And the judge put a clock on us and was like, "You guys got to get going so you can finish the game." And we did. We finished the game in time, but it was, it's easy to just start chatting to the guy across the table and lose track of time. So, but we literally lost an hour of that round. Him and I just talking orcs and joking around. So anyway,
good topic though for the night, Seth. I appreciate that, man.
Let's get into the ITC recap for the week. Tech Priest, do you have it right? Tech Priest. You're not the Tech Priest. There we go. All right. Number 1 is Jack Harpster. Number 2, Vic VJ. Number 3, John Lennon. Number 4, David Gaylor. And number 5, Thomas Ogden. Now, kicker. I've learned an interesting fact about the top 5 of the ITC.
Okay, please tell.
Would you believe that every single one of these gentlemen is a content creator now?
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Obviously, Jack and John are on Art of War. Vic and David actually have their own show, 40K Fireside, which is a nice little chill chat. And then Thomas Ogden over with Death or Glory. Death or Glory group just started doing their own weekly show. So
I mean, you have to have a podcast.
Yeah, I think and even if you look like top 10, you should be doing it, but certainly top 5. If you're in the top 5 and you're not creating content, I think we actually deduct ITC points at this point.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, that is law.
It is official law. All right. Moving on down to the hobby track. Our number 1 is Matt Aaron. Number 2, Jacob Thayer. Number 3, Andrew Gagno. I have a typo in my notes, by the way, that says Hanyo. I almost said it, but I got it, Andrew. I got you covered. Number 4, Aaron Kelman. Number 5, Dean Pritchard.
Goat Boy, do you participate in the hobby track? Are you do you come with full fancy battle boards and stuff, trying to showcase your stuff at events? Or no, you're going there to roll dice and kick ass, right?
I want my army to look good enough on the table to feel good on it. I never really pushed enough into the hobby track. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's when it started getting going, I had kids. Yeah. And then that kind of made me not think about it. So I've thought about it more and more. I saw some names I'm familiar with and friends with on there. Yeah. So I don't know why.
I believe we have number 5, Dean, in chat.
Oh, hey, Dean.
He's preparing his NIDS for LVO. The dots are coming for LVO, he says, because he's got that coconut crab scheme, that speckled dot pattern. It's really nice. All right, let's get over the AOS competitive track. Our number 1 is reigning Lone Star Open AOS judge Gavin Greigar. Also the winner of the AOS Kansas City tournament. So good job.
And he won last year's AOS ITC overall. So Gavin's on a roll.
You guys got to try to dethrone Gavin over there. Yeah. Number 2, Anthony Trentinelli. Number 3, Jeremy Weisier. Number 4, Ridge Hanna. And number 5, Thomas Guan. And then heading on over to the AOS hobby track. Our number 1 still is Robert Snyder. Number 2, Ricky Fisher. Number 3, Nick Garcia. Number 4, Anthony Trentinelli. And number 5, Matt Beasley. And that is your ITC recap for the week. Whew. Woo-hoo. All right, chat. Now is the moment to throw in all of your lovely questions for Kicker and Goat Boy and myself, if you have any. Final thoughts for the evening, gentlemen?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Goat Boy, thank you so much for coming on. You are privy to knowledge that few people are aware of. My co-host also knows, because we're already preparing for next week. Guys, if you're listening right now, turn off everything else you're doing. Don't think about anything, but just listen closely. Guys, next week, the biggest news ever since the creation of the ITC will be getting released from us. That's big news.
That's a mighty...
Yeah, I know.
It's a because...
I mean, I think it's pretty good news.
Kicker, if I'm correct, the LVO was created after the start of the ITC. Is this bigger than the LVO?
I mean, this is really big news. This is going to impact the competitive world.
Bigger than the LVO.
I mean, the LVO, it's pretty big. Okay, so this is some of the biggest news.
No, I agree with you. I know what it is. It is bigger than the LVO, certainly. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's That's quite a statement.
It's going to really impact the competitive scene as we know it. Goat Boy has been putting up with my nonsense, asking for him to get the logos ready for this. Seth, you've been you've been letting me bounce ideas off of you, and of course Tech Priest Rich. We've been all working on this to prepare for the formal announcement next week. So stay tuned. We will not discuss it on this week. I see some things in the chat. We're not talking about it tonight, guys. Wait till next week. But it's big stuff. Seth, do we have anything else in the chat that we need to address though? That is not
there is some speculation about possibly a Kicker branded cereal being announced, or a competitive cereal eating event.
I mean, we can definitely have that. There's no reason why we can't have competitive cereal eating at the LVO. I would be very much in favor of that.
I mean, I feel like it's a Friday night event.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever night the bar crawl is, not that night.
Yeah,
we don't need people like consuming a large amount of milk and then going to the bar. That's not a great idea.
Yeah. We'll stagger the two events: the pub crawl and the cereal eating.
Yeah, don't combine those two. Mistakes could be made. All right. Well, I think that's everything we have. Again, thank you so much, Goat Boy, for joining us. We really enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you, audience, for joining us in chat. It's been great. Thank you, Tech Priest, for keeping everything running in the background. Kicker, any final thoughts now?
No, guys, really excited to see Cherokee taking off so well. I mean, the tickets have been available for about 24 hours, and it seems like Cherokee's going to be massive for 2023.
It's a good time. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night.